Everyone wants to know the truth, but does it always set us free? Sometimes lies save us. Sometimes they destroy us. We lie out of fear, out of pride, out of compassion. We lie to others, but most of all to ourselves. 5 stories, 5 faces of truth, 1 question. Sun without shadows. A wise man discovered an ancient amulet that granted wishes. He wished, "Let everyone in my village speak only the truth." By morning, chaos erupted. Children screamed at their parents, "We don't love you." Spouses confessed to infidelity. Friends revealed hidden resentments. Merchants announced the real prices of their goods. Rulers admitted to corruption. By evening, people stopped talking. By the 3rd day, many had left the village. Seeing the suffering, the wise man wanted to destroy the amulet, but a young woman stopped him. "Wait," she said. In the empty village, she began to speak the truth differently. Instead of saying, "You are old and ugly," she said, "your wrinkles tell the story of your wisdom." Gradually, people returned, having learned to wrap truth in kindness. "What have you learned?" a disciple asked. The wise man gazed at the sky and replied, "Truth is like the sun. It gives life, but it can also burn if not softened by the clouds of compassion." Moral: a world of absolute truth is just as unbearable as a world built on lies. Truth needs the gentleness of compassion, just as bright light needs shadows. Wisdom is not in blunt honesty, but in knowing when truth heals and when it wounds needlessly. Flame of hope. An old healer was treating a dying young man. When the boy's parents asked about his chances, the healer noticed the boy was listening and said, "He will live a long life." A spark of hope lit up the boy's fading eyes. That night, the healer wept. His apprentice asked, "Why did you lie? Isn't truth supposed to set us free?" "Sometimes, truth kills faster than the disease," the healer replied, mixing herbs. To everyone's surprise, the boy's condition improved. Within a month, he recovered. The healer then admitted to his apprentice, "I lied to give him hope, and that hope saved him. But what if my words had failed?" Years later, the apprentice, now a renowned physician, gave hope to a dying girl. But she passed away and her family cursed him for false promises. That night, his old teacher appeared in a dream and whispered, "The most dangerous cures are the ones that don't always work." Moral: a kind lie is a double-edged sword. It can save one person while wounding another. In offering sweet illusions, we take on the burden of truth, which always finds its way in the end. Mirror of deception. In a city along the Silk Road, there lived a merchant known for his eloquence. At first, he merely embellished his goods' virtues. Then, he lied about their origins. Eventually, he deceived even about their very nature. One day, he acquired a precious gem. But having lied for so long, he could no longer tell if it was real or fake. He sought out every master in the city, yet each gave a different answer. Exhausted by doubt, he climbed into the mountains to seek an old hermit. "Wise one, how can I know the truth?" he asked. The hermit held the stone for a moment, then returned it with a quiet reply. "Truth is like this gem. The more layers of lies you wrap around it, the harder it becomes to see its true nature." "But is the stone real?" the merchant insisted. The old man smiled. "Your own eyes no longer trust your heart. What answer would truly satisfy your hunger for truth?" Moral: the habit of lying is like muddy water in a well. The more we deceive, the less we see clearly, until we begin to doubt even what is real. The greatest punishment of a liar is not that others stop believing him, but that he loses the ability to believe himself. Shadow of mercy. A Buddhist monk, bound by a vow of absolute truth, encountered a wounded warrior fleeing from his pursuers. "Hide me and say you haven't seen me," the warrior whispered, blood staining his robes. The monk sheltered him in his hut. Soon after, armed men arrived. "Reverend, did you see the fugitive? Speak the truth, for we know of your vow." The monk met their eyes and replied, "I saw no one on this road." When the pursuers left, he tended the warrior's wounds and guided him to safety. Then, he returned to the monastery and confessed to the abbot, "I broke my vow of truth to save a life. I am ready to accept my punishment." The abbot remained silent for a long time, turning his prayer beads. Then he spoke, "What is truth if not an act of compassion? You lied with your lips but spoke the truth with your heart." Then I did the right thing, the monk asked. You made a choice you are willing to bear. That is the path of a bodhisattva. Moral: in a world of contradictions, no rule is absolute. The highest truth is not found in the letter of the law, but in its spirit. True compassion may sometimes speak through deception, yet it always speaks with the voice of the heart. Wisdom lies in knowing when literal honesty serves life and when it becomes a blind idol. Arrow of pride. A renowned master archer boasted that he could hit the center of any target. His fame echoed across the empire. At an imperial tournament, he unexpectedly missed. Fearing disgrace, he blamed a sudden gust of wind, even though the day was still. Next time, he blamed a faulty bowstring, then poorly crafted arrows. With each excuse, his explanations grew more elaborate while his training grew less frequent. One day, a young student dared to say, "Master, you spend more effort finding excuses than improving your aim." Offended, the archer dismissed the boy. Years passed, and the once great master became a laughingstock. Then he heard of a new champion, his former student. When asked about his secret, the young man simply held out his calloused hands. "I learned to hit the mark by embracing my failures, not running from them." Moral: prideful lies are a gilded cage we build for ourselves. By denying our mistakes, we lose the only true path to mastery. True greatness is not in flawlessness, but in the courage to face imperfection head-on. Conclusion: some choose the truth, even when it burns. Others hide it behind mercy. Some drown in deception, losing themselves. Some shatter the world, never learning how to tell the truth without pain. But truth and lies are not opposites. They are shadows of the same light. Which story resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you want to see the world deeper.